I am rockin' with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
Tessie and I are rocking with B-Rock.
We're rocking with B-Rock!
We
We are Shotgun Superstars, rocking with B-Rock.
I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Jim. And we're rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock!
We are Asphalt Valentine, and you are rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock! Ready to rock with B-Rock!
Hey, this is Paul Adolf from Dangerous Toys and Dirty Looks, and I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock!
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock, and I'm looking forward to fight.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Jet Set, and you're rocking with B-Rock. Because you're smart. You got good taste.
What's happening? How's everybody tonight? Thursday night. I mean, traffic was a nightmare for me today. Nightmare. What just happened? It was a nightmare. I mean, people just don't know how to drive. I never thought I'd get here, so I'm kind of unprepared, a little bit on the whim, blah, 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 blah. But I know my guests will save me because they're professionals. They know what they're doing. Me, not so much. But we have Jimmy Red Hot from the 69-minute metal show. I renamed it. It's the way it is. It's the 69-minute metal show. Rachel Logan from Rachel's Rock Refuge, and Will Mass from Rock Metal Radio. So, without further ado, let's say hi to Jimmy.
What is up, people?
Rachel.
All right.
How is everybody tonight?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for renaming the show. Appreciate it.
I did. I mean, it
Yeah.
might have been a screw up, but I think it was the best screw up ever.
It fit right in with everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm looking at the comments. I'm like, what are they talking about? Did he rename the show? And I'm like, 69-minute metal. I'm like, so I went up and I looked. I was like, you son of a bitch. The 9 is right by the 0. So
I
I'm
do
like,
it all the time, Mike. I do it all the time.
My fat fingers just go for. I mean,
Mike, I can see comments now, so I guess that's a good thing.
Oh, you can. Yeah, I'll put them right on the screen here.
No, that's cool. I can see them now.
I mean, bang. That Facebook user is, and I will let you know who they are as they come in. Dave Ayers. Hi,
Okay.
Dave.
Okay.
Michael Francolino again. I guess he's talking about you, Jim.
Hey, that sure as hell ain't me. That's you.
That's not me. Gaze upon my gloriousness. Well, we can only figure out who that is. Wendy Massey's in here, but we don't have the hubby in here.
Yeah, her
Wendy
husband needs to be in here. Love Wendy, though. Hey, Wendy.
Right.
You can hear me?
But, yeah.
I win.
So, as we're waiting on Will, who's going to be, he likes to make his grand entrance. I've
gotta
learned
be
this about this guy. He's got to make that grand entrance. He's got to come in. Wendy's like, where the hell is he? I don't know. He's your responsibility, not mine, Wendy.
Well, I love you too, girl. Thank you.
So you can see. Oh, you probably pulled up you got the Facebook pulled up too, don't you?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
That's one thing I know about StreamYard. If you just have StreamYard on, do not have your Facebook open because supposedly the timing is not.
Yep.
No, it's kind of.
It would be really
a little bit lagged over here.
Remember, Mike,
Right.
one button. Don't touch anything else. One
Where's
button.
Rock Metal Lunatic? We don't know. All right. Rachel, introduce yourself like anybody doesn't know who Rachel Logan is.
Well, I'm
Everybody
sure
knows. Everybody knows who Rachel Logan is. Oh, look at this. Just okay, we're gonna make him wait. We're gonna let Rachel introduce herself, and we're gonna make this Will Mass character wait. The stage is all yours.
Is he backstage right now?
He's backstage.
Okay, well, all I would say is I'm Rachel Logan. I host a show called Rachel's Rock Refuge. It's been going strong since 2015, and we focus mainly on the hair bands of yesterday, the melodic rock of today, and the symphonic metal of today as well. A lot of it out of Europe and Scandinavia. So we try to do a global thing and include some personality into it. So,
and you do a
in a nutshell.
very good job.
Thank
Very
you.
good job. I am a regular listener, so everybody out there should be a regular listener.
Appreciate it very much.
Can't go wrong with that music. Can't go wrong with it.
No, I mean, she does get a great mix. I mean, it's just like with any radio, with most of the radio shows I listen to, it is a really good mix. They don't just focus on one. I mean, that gets boring, and then you don't find nothing new. When you're focusing on some new, you bring them in with the old and the stuff they knew, and you hit them with something new, and bam, then they're going, okay, then they go down the rabbit hole with that band.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly, especially with a lot of the bands that are out right now off the Frontiers label out of Italy. They are like the melodic rock label, and they just continue to pump out these new bands and this new music, and it's spectacular for the melodic rock fan, you know.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, and then there's some surprises in there too. I like to throw some surprises and some unexpected stuff in there as well.
Curveballs.
Curveballs, that's right.
All right, Jim.
It's obvious you're a listener when you say that.
Obvious, come on. Jim, what do you do?
60-minute metal, Philly Rock Radio. Been doing it. We started on an AM station, WNJC, 11 years ago. Took some time off, and then I hooked back up with Kevin. It's been, I guess, 120 shows was tonight. So it's been about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. But I start off with classic rock, go to thrash to end it, and then in between we got your glam and your heavy, and I throw an 80s pick in there too. So it's all over the place, and the 80s pick itself is basically like it could be anything from like off the wall Loverboy that'll sneak in there. So
right. And we love it all, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, throw me some Devo every now and then, and I'm up dancing around and just having a good old time.
Because you got to remember what you grew up with. So
exactly, and you know what? We all know all the words, even though they might not be in our record collection. With half of them are now. We love them. We know them. We might as well just play them. I mean,
I just want to get every word I can in before Will comes on. So,
yeah, well, guess what? Bam! You're out of luck. The mouth of
here he is,
Mason-Dixon line in the house.
Okay,
I know Wendy will appreciate that. She's like, "Wow, he knows Mason-Dixon." Right there at the Mason-Dixon line, we have Will Mass.
First of all, screw you, Mike. Secondly, Rachel Logan, beautiful. It is great to see your face.
Great to see you. Thank you. It is great to see you. And I want to say one thing to you 100%. Your health is number one, period. And to see you make such a transformation has been phenomenal.
Thank you, darling. We all know who we have to thank for that.
Yeah.
Right.
That would, my wife has been, she's been the rock. She's been everything. You know what I mean? And she's the reason why my rebound has been as quick as it is. I didn't want to eat that stuff. I really wanted my chocolate donuts. I really did. But, at the end of the day, she took care of me. But is that your new studio you're in?
It is. I'm not nearly as decorative as all your alls, but yeah, this is the new one. And the important thing is my clients are complimenting me on the sound quality.
There you go.
Sound quality and space to breathe is the most important. So I'm very happy. Everything's in here and I can work and play. Yes. Thank you for noticing and for asking.
Oh, well, I listen, I follow just like Mike, I'm fanboy with you. You know that. I have been for a really, really, really long time. And it's like when you're watching you do this stuff and then you're like, bing, my new space. I'm like, Hey, that's nice. You know, I respect that. I know how you are. I know how you put the time in to your shows very, very, very much, as does Jim, as does Mike.
Yeah.
I don't put shit time in. I just jump on and go with it. I mean, whatever.
Nothing wrong with that, Mike.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it bombs, whatever. I mean,
that's why we do it.
That's why we do it. I mean, some weeks you prepare and you really prepare. You know, like with Rachel, you get this, and Will, you do a lot of interviews. Some ones you have to prepare for. Some you don't know very well. You don't have a first name basis. You're not very, connected with. So, and you don't know a lot about it, like especially like a new artist. So you've got to do a little bit of homework so it goes well. Others, like them very well, like Rat Rod, them guys, bands that you have a personal relationship. You don't really have to. You just pick up a conversation and it just goes.
Yeah, definitely. But again, everybody know, like, again, I'm gonna point out for those that don't know, Rachel and Jim especially, and Mike can attest to this too. Both of their shows are very much done in their hearts in it. Number one, with what they do, otherwise they wouldn't do it. None of us would. But
right.
The biggest thing with those two prepare more for. I've met a lot of people doing podcasts and radio shows. I've never met any two people particularly that prepare the way Rachel and Jimmy do. I mean, it's insanity on so many levels with you two that I don't want any parts of that. I like my fly by night. Mike can agree with me, man.
Right. I'll have a whole show picked out and I'll hear a song I want and I'll change the whole show.
Yes.
Whole show.
The whole show. Go on. See ya.
Because it don't fit.
Yeah, it does. Exactly.
It don't fit. So I got to build a show around this one because an artist will drop a brand new song and you're like, I need to incorporate this. And you can't. So it's like, but Rachel, I don't know how this girl does it. She, the night before her show, she will go, okay, make requests. It's 9:00 at night. 1:00 in the 2:00 in the afternoon on Tuesday. You're listening. It sounds like this thing been worked on all week. I mean, this girl just like bam, 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 bam. It's professional, done, gone, seal it, bam.
And it's done on Monday nights. It's
Monday nights.
Done on Monday nights for broadcast on Tuesday.
Right.
So it takes hours. And Jeff, who you met at Monsters on the Mountain, he just said to me the other day, he goes, I'm not there to see what goes into that production, but a 2-hour show takes one heck of a lot longer than 2 hours to produce. And it's all done Monday night. It's uploaded to an FTP site, file transfer protocol, and my stations can have access to that. So whenever they want to download that, that's up to them, and it broadcasts at their designated time. So it's Monday nights is a crazy night for me always, but
it's like
I love it.
Wow, I didn't understand until I started getting into it, and then I'm like, how the hell does this girl do this? I sit there and I've got to think about what I'm going to say.
I do too. Absolutely.
I went away from that, and now it's just with mine. I just talk and just, okay, whatever, it's out there.
This is one show.
Jim's notes.
Jeez. Notes.
He's got more notes than I do. Jimmy, you have me beat.
Literally, I am insane with this. Extremely insane. But I want it to sound right. And I want everything to fit. And I'll dig deep and find like that one, like, who the hell was that? And I'm like, it's Alcatraz off their latest. Right. And they're like, he didn't, what? And I go, just look it up.
Right.
Just look it up because he did.
Yeah, but exactly. But because you don't say you know everything because you don't.
You know.
And there's always songs by bands that you hate that you love. And that's just the way it is. You got to look for them gems.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And you don't know it all, but you do the research so that other people can get the information.
Right.
Well said. That's exactly true.
Okay. Right. Research. Let me tell you something. Okay. Jimmy took me on a tour of his monster lab the other day, and we were talking on the phone. He goes, we're talking on the phone, and he literally goes, hold on, I'll call you right back. So I hang up the phone. 2 seconds later, he's FaceTiming me because we were talking about music. You know what I mean? And now I'm getting that man is nuts, y'all. I'm just gonna let you know now. Like
nuts.
He's flipping through those papers that he just showed you. That's nothing. He was flipping through books of stuff when he was showing me. I'm like, what the heck, man?
It's there's a method to the madness, right, Rachel? That's just the way you look at it.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, I like the way that you do your show because it's different than the way someone else does it. You know, you do it in the way that's right for you, and you can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about how you prep, you know.
Right. You don't want to copy somebody else. If you try to be somebody else, you're never going to succeed. You're going to fail. You have to be you. It doesn't matter if this guy's got 1,000 listeners every show and you've got 2. Stay true to them 2.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely. Will was yelling at me the one day. We had a radio day thing. We have it twice a year. We're a radio day. So I go outside my norm and I played The Cure. And Will texts me. He's like, "What? This isn't metal." I go, "It's metal in my eyes. That's all that matters." You know.
I got one of them one day, the Alice in Chains, you know, and she's like, "I don't consider this metal." I was like, "Well, I love it." You know, and, you know, it fit for me that day. And it was like, you know, you're not going to please everybody all the time. People are going to, you know, it's just the way it is. And you got to stay true to you. You got to play what you love. And you got to step out the box every now and then and go, okay, this is a brand new track. I don't care for it, but there's going to be people that are. Exactly. I'll let you know that I'm on the fence about this, you know, so that people don't think I'm trying to push something that I don't. That people think I like something that is totally not what I like, but I'll be like, I'm on the fence. I don't know. Give me your thoughts, and then you can get that track out there. And I know you do that, Rachel. You sit there, you go, I'm not sure yet. You know.
Well, yeah, I certainly do not say I love something when I don't, and I certainly don't say. You know, I play a lot of requests, and I'd be lying if I said I love every request that comes in. You know, I play the songs that I feel fit the show, like you were just saying, like all of us were just saying. If it fits the show and I feel like my audience will appreciate it, it gets played, which is 99% of the requests, in all honesty. The people that know the show and appreciate it, and I appreciate them in return 100%. But there's been requests that have come in and maybe they didn't get the show, or I'm not sure, but the songs were not something my audience would appreciate. And that's the first question that comes in here. Would my audience appreciate this song? Would they get excited? Would they enjoy it? If the answer is an astounding no, it cannot get played. And it is no reflection on the individual that requested it. Yes.
No. And you're absolutely right.
Yep. I agree.
That's the first question I ask. And, you know, it's really not about, well, do I like it?
Right.
You know, it's about, will my audience appreciate it? I'm serving them.
Right. And that's,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'm not a big Kiss fan. Everyone that knows me knows that. I'm not but if I could pick the 10 songs they'd play, I'd go see them. I have seen them before with the other bands, and everybody kept telling me, "You don't play enough Kiss. You don't play enough Kiss." I'm like, you know what? I played a whole show of Kiss. It's just it, and they know they're my favorite, but
get it out of the system.
Got it in. There you go. I'm here to please you.
They missed that show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Kiss request hour. The 69-minute Kiss hour.
I want to thank everyone for their comments. A lot of it says Facebook user, and
and I'm trying to get out there.
You know what to tell them to press so that their name comes up, their identity comes up.
You go in.
We've told them a million times.
But they still don't listen. I mean, they're like little batteracos running around. They don't listen. They don't care. They're like, I want to be anonymous. And that's the way it is. But they don't realize I can see you over here. Like we have Aaron Shepard in, we have Wendy Massey in, we have Wendy Chandler in. There's a bunch of people in here. Mike Francolino's in.
Shep is in there. Is he walking?
Shep's in here. Dave Ayers is here.
Earbuds in.
This one is, but we got a lot of people when they come up with a. Yeah, there's Wendy.
Thank you. I'd love to know who said that. Is it Aaron who said
What
that?
Who said what?
Who just said that's what sets you apart. Thank you so much, by the way. It just says Facebook user there. I'd love to know who that is. I'd love to know who you are. So I can
that is
Wendy.
Or am I
that's
just
Wendy? That is Wendy Massey.
It's Wendy, is it?
That's Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
That is Wendy.
Who is it?
Wendy Massey.
From the bottom of my heart, girl.
That girl that
Thank you.
shacks up with this guy. He took an old stray in one day. Can't get rid of him.
You got that right.
You got that right.
You got that right.
Hey, you know what? And she's so good, she can teach an old dog new tricks.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I still like my donuts.
I know, right? They're still in your truck, right?
No, I don't put them there anymore.
You don't put them there anymore?
No.
No, he got found out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
you know
what?
we didn't get to you because you were fashionably late. Your show, and what does your show concentrate on?
Being fashionably late. Have you listened to the show?
Yeah.
No, I first off, I apologize for my lateness. I got involved in a conversation with a gentleman who was here at the studio tonight, and I really totally lost track of time. And I was trying to set it up on my laptop, and that didn't work. So I was like, back to the phone. I was like, again, you three are bringing the limo. I'm bringing the train wreck. It's so.
I love that when you said that today. I was like, man, there's Will.
That's not true. You bring your own to the whole show. Right. You set everything up,
your
man. You're the man.
You got the Hummer limo.
Yeah.
So here you go. So seriously, I mean, what I do is it's Rock Metal Radio. For those that don't know, Mike Badaracco used to co-host the show with me, and I miss him, and it's all good. He's definitely taken on a life of his own, and I'm super proud of you, dude. By the way, super proud of you.
So have you.
He's super proud. But what I do is a lot. You guys do a lot of music. Mike does a lot of interviews. Rachel does a fair amount of interviews. Jimmy sticks to the music and just blasts you, one way through. I try to stick on, you mentioned Rat Rod and Indian Head and some of these bands, 86 Bullets. I try to start, here locally with doing a show that I was trying to give. Believe me, there's a million shows like mine out there, trying to give the local guys their shot of being heard or whatnot. But I wanted to come at it from a little bit different angle and just say, okay, what are these bands that I'm seeing here and there that are appealing to me? Because if they're appealing to me, it's kind of like what you guys were talking about before. If they're appealing to me, whether they're big stars on a national level or the band around the corner, then they're probably going to be appealing to the people that listen to my show or, that I hang out with on a regular basis, which is my 15 listeners. And that's perfect because that's the perfect number for me. Any more than that, it's chaos.
More than I got.
Any more than that, it's chaos. So
it's chaos.
But so anyway, I'm sorry. I focus on local and regional bands and talent. I really like to give them more than 10 minutes, you know what I mean, of a local FM radio station show of, even if they're at that level, which most of the FM shows aren't going to do that. But anyway, give them more than that 5 or 10 minutes of an FM station, giving them the same basic questions and routine questions, giving them more of an hour segment. Mike, you know how we did it. It's like we did it in hour segments. It was a 2-hour show. So we gave each artist an hour, and it gives people more, you know what I mean? It gives them more in depth with individuals that they want to, to get involved with. And I've been on a hiatus for a while, but, still when I come back, it's still going to be broadcast on Toxic Radio. You said Mike's in the chat room, my man.
Francolito's in here. Yes.
He's the man. But, I can honestly say that as far as radio stuff, and Rachel knows this, I'm going to say it again. I've always been inspired by Rachel's show just because, and I'm not, again, it's not the same show. It's not the same anything, but I admired her candor, her walk, you know what I mean? Her cadence on the radio, the way her voice was, I've told her this before, but let me tell you a really cool story about Miss Rachel that you guys don't know. Oh, no.
There we go.
No. Sweetheart, don't worry. No.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
This is.
Don't listen to him. Shut him up.
So
you can't shut him off.
I know. I'm trying clicking the mute button and it don't work anymore. What the hell
He's got his
happened?
own mute button there.
I'm just saying he's taking over the show.
I'm not taking over the show. I want to relate a story.
Let's do the story. There it is.
So listen. So five and a half, 6 years ago, most of you know I got myself involved with 86 Bullets. Okay. And Rachel was still local here. She was home up in the Baltimore area. And I loved her so much in the way she did things. I was like, I'm going to get her to play 86 Bullets. Not really realizing that what Rachel's show wasn't really 86 Bullets. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm going to get her to play it. I'm going to get her to play it. And this was early on with me with 86, early on back in this whole industry. And I was going about things the wrong way. And I was very pushy with Rachel. And she said to me, she goes, okay, look, what do you think is the most melodic song that 86 Bullets does? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself. And instead of picking a song, what do I say? I tell her, I said, pick any of them. We're on Melodic Revolution Records, for Christ's sakes. It should be easy. Or something. It was some snide comment. And I didn't mean to be an ass, but it was being just kind of pushy. And I'll tell you what, to her credit, and it was months later, she played 86 Bullets on her show when we had a new release. And it tied in with her theme. So when she was talking about earlier, it was one of those things that, okay, it didn't fit her show when I was trying to say, hey, play this band. She got my enthusiasm and everything else. But all of a sudden, it hit that where it was like, new album came out. And she was like, you know what? I like this. I'm going to play it. That's what I love about Rachel.
And I knew my audience would appreciate it. I knew my audience would like it. I knew it would work for that show. So I appreciate you saying that. But I'm glad. I was glad that it worked out and I was able to play you guys. So
it was awesome. Because, I mean, you guys know 86 Bullets. That's not what Rachel does.
No.
So we were the curveball, literally.
Curveballs are cool. I love her curveballs. I mean, them things are just like crazy.
They're the
best. I try
best.
to make them surprises, and a lot of them are from the 80s because that's what I want. I want it to trigger something from yesterday, not today. Yeah.
And, I'll be in the shop, and the guys are looking at me, and I'm like jigging. I'm like, hey, it's Diva. All right. I'm cranking. And they're like, you're cranking. What are you listening to back here? I'm like, it's Diva, or whatever it is, or Michael McDonald or whatever you play, whatever curveball you throw.
It's not Michael McDonald.
I know.
Great artist.
It just came to mind. I'm like, never Michael McDonald, but I'm just saying, something like that.
Forgetting. What?
But you got to have.
That's coming next week. I'm requesting it. That's the way it is.
You got to have those.
Listeners will appreciate it.
Them curveballs make a big difference to somebody. Like, somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Donnie Iris. They throw that out there.
Right. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now we have a question. Aaron Sheppa, he says, when will we get rock metal radio back on the airwaves?
Hey, Aaron.
Oh, I guess that's for me, huh?
That's for you.
Hi, Mr. Sheppa.
Hello, Mr. Sheppa.
Hey, Aaron.
But, we all are wondering this question. We understand that, believe me, if anybody understands, I understand. I take a hiatus every now and then when I got a show to do to fully concentrate on this, or when I was getting the website up, fully, you've got so many things going on that, you got to step back from something to put your full foot forward and get something going. And I applaud you for not trying to half-ass everything to keep it going. Because when you half-ass everything to keep everything going, it shows. But when you say, like, you don't want to, you step back from Rock Metal Radio and say, I gotta focus on the studio, or I've got to focus on my health. Right. You're not trying to half-ass it. And I applaud you for that, because I do the same thing. And I know people that don't do that, and you end up making it a train wreck of it. So where are we at? When do you think your show is going to be back?
So I'm not going to pinpoint a date right now. Still, I'm not. Some of you guys know what's been going on. Obviously, my health issues from last year and carried over into the first of the year. But I don't, like you just said, Mike, I don't want to come back and half-ass it. And since buying Studio E, this is the ultimate space for me to be able to do what I do, as far as showcasing, especially, locally and regionally. I don't want to be able to come back and half-ass it. And what I want to do is be able to utilize the studio space. And, before we would have bands on there, when they were in studio, Frankie would come in, play guitar one time. We'd have somebody, playing in-house. That's fine to expose people to, to the live side of a band, but you're not really getting the band unplugged. You know what I mean? Right. So at the studio, I'm able to utilize a lot of things here. So
everything.
I can bring in, a full band, do the radio show, have them perform, run it through the boards, get the best possible sound, out of their performance, and send that back out on the airwaves to everybody out here. And to me, you guys know how I feel about local musicians, especially. It's like, I want to put them in that kind of a light. You know what I mean? I want them to have that professional sound. I could give two shits less as long as people can hear my mic. I don't care about effects and stuff like that. But a band, I want them to be perfect. And right. Until I can get everything in place here in the studio, and I'm hoping after the first of the year, I'm not pinpointing a date. But I don't, like you said, I don't want to come back half-assed. I want to come back bigger and better.
And I get that. There's people that half-ass things out there, and they got so many irons in the fire. When you got so much going on and you're not focusing on, you can have 2 or 3 if you can manage that. But when you got like 16 or 17 things going on, and it shows, things don't get your full attention and they suffer. And the last thing, you should do is have anything suffer for what you're doing. Rachel does a lot. You do a lot of voicing and this and that. But you know what? You know how to manage your time. Right. Yeah. You do what you do. Your radio show doesn't suffer. If you had some event come up, like if you do, Labor Day comes up, and if you're going to go out of town or something like that, you're not going to half-ass a show just to get it on there. You'll be like, we're going to on vacation this week.
My stations run a replay. And
right.
And I just take off that week.
You have to. I mean, you don't want to rush something. You don't want to put something out that you don't feel good about. And I know Jim's the same way. We all want to put because that might be the first time somebody's tuning in.
Yeah, they're going to be like, what the hell is this?
What the hell is this? Yeah. I'm out. And then they don't tell anybody. They say, yeah, I listened to him. He's a train wreck. But the normal listeners are going to be like, wow, you had an off show? Happened to you, dude? No. You got to always think about somebody's listening for the first time.
Yeah.
And each one of you do the same thing. I mean, every show I listen to, all 3 of you, is utter perfection. And it sets the bar for guys like me that are just getting in, have been doing this for not nearly as long as you all. And we try to strive to get to that plateau. But you know what? We're all good where we're at.
But your mindset is so healthy, Mike. Not everyone says, I got to be, your mindset's really healthy. You really see things the way that they should be seen when it comes to you and comes to your audience and what content you're putting out there. That's number one, honestly.
I've learned
but you're not going to please everybody with what you play, no matter what it is.
Right.
No matter what.
You could think it's the best song. Right. And then somebody else is going to not like that. And you'll be like, why'd you play that? Because somebody else wanted to hear it.
Thank you to the person that said that, by the way. Thank you.
I'm not even seeing these
things. I'm only seeing Facebook user, so I don't know.
Yeah, they say Facebook. Okay, I'm going to.
Yeah, it should be. There should be something, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. That says grant StreamYard permission.
Grant StreamYard permission. Go out. And they're not going to do it. Believe me, they're not going to do it.
They never do
it. They sit there and be Facebook user just to mess with me so that I've got to actually call the name out. So this one is, I'm thankful for, that's Aaron.
Aaron, thank you, Aaron.
Replays of the live
so much love for you, Aaron. Aaron is just
he's such a nice
incredible person. Yeah. Incredible person. Period.
We don't call him the mayor for nothing.
Wendy actually went out.
I
She
can
was a
see
Facebook
Wendy.
user. She was a Facebook user.
Yes,
She is
Wendy.
now legit. See
There
that,
you go.
everybody?
All you guys
Take it
have
from
to do
Wendy.
is just click yes,
Yes.
right?
Click
That's
a
it.
box.
And all it
Yeah.
does is access your identity so it doesn't say Facebook user. That's all.
I think people
It's just
get
a way
very
for
scared of that.
Facebook
get very-
and yeah, it's just a way. I understand that. It's just a way for Facebook and StreamYard to connect. It's just
Yep.
for them to communicate. That's it.
Yep.
They're not going
That's
to
all it is.
sell you
They're not
stuff.
going to say.
No.
Well, Facebook will, but StreamYard's
Yeah.
not.
Good point.
Facebook always tries to say something.
Good
Now, today's okay, Rachel. You did this many years. You were a DJ, an actual terrestrial DJ at one time.
Yes, I was an FM radio DJ for about 15 years.
Wow. And Jim, you still are?
Nah,
not on FM radio.
Not on
but
FM.
I
Not
was.
on FM radio?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
was
Philly
on
Rock
FM
Radio.
here
Okay.
in Atlanta for years. Most of
Nice.
my radio career was in Atlanta. I was on a station in Baltimore for 2 years. I did a stint in Tallahassee, Florida. You do move around. I tried not to, but you really do move around when you're on FM radio and you're chasing that next gig and where am I going to be on the air next? And this is definitely before I had a full-time voiceover career of any sort. Right. So when you're a DJ and you dedicate your life to that and your soul to that, I don't miss it. I'll tell you, I don't miss that anxiety, but oh no, or I'm not that happy with this situation, or I kind of want to get out of here, or this station laid me off after so long, whatever the case is, where's that next radio gig going to come from? I don't miss that anxiety, but yes, Wendy, we can see you. Wendy Sue Massey.
We can see you now.
Rachel, how were some of them jobs? Like, were they all good or?
Oh, no, they were not. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Overall, I had a respectable career and I'm thankful for every gig that I had. And I had wonderful experiences in FM radio. Absolutely. But was every situation great? No, there were some stations where, the people I worked with were great, but the management was horrible. Or there was one bad apple who happened to be on my station that ruined things for a lot of departments and caused a lot of havoc and problems behind the scenes, but other people were great.
Right.
That may have worked for another station or, so I've had that happen for sure. But at every station I've been at, I've worked with great people.
That's
cool. Worked with great people.
That's
and I'll
good.
tell you, whether you're in FM radio or you're out or you're in between, we're all brothers and sisters. I don't mean to sound sappy, but it's absolutely true. It's a connection, whether you know the person or not. So if you see on my page, if I say radio brother or radio sister, I'm taking that from a real place.
Right.
Right.
Most radio people have that in their blood. They've been through a lot in the business and with their career. And I literally started at the bottom. I do want people to know that if they're not, if they think radio is simple and easy to get into. I even had some college experience in radio, but I still started at the bottom some years later. And I mean, sought out a tiny station in the middle of nowhere to do anything.
Right.
For pennies, to do anything. So that I can build and gradually build. Right. And it is true when people say it's connections, it's meeting people, it's getting yourself out there. It is. It's that along with honing your skills and learning. Yeah. So I started at the bottom and it took me years to get to the point that I got to that I feel really good about. So I take every ounce of what I've learned in FM radio and I take that into Rachel's Rock Refuge every single week. And I'm not going to say that I'm always on and that I always have tons of energy. Absolutely not. There's definitely weeks where I'm just like, as much as I love the show.
Do I have to do it today?
Yeah. I think we've all been there.
Right?
Absolutely.
Literally, I'll get Tuesday's show, get that together, and I go, man, I got to do this again in 2 days. Even though I love it, sometimes it hits you and you just like, all right, man, I got to chill out because you see what I put into it. I drive myself nuts.
Right. Now, Rachel, you've been in FM radio.
Yes.
And we're all in internet radio now. What are the challenges with internet radio? Now, gaining listeners. I mean, you really don't know who's listening. With the FM, you didn't know. But Facebook, with their algorithms, that's no longer a viable option to know that you're reaching people. I mean, so all three of you, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them? Start with Jim.
You just mentioned it. Like, you don't know who's listening because you think you'd put it out there that you would hit the like button so you know you're listening. Very few people do that.
Right.
They'll just cruise on past. They'll listen to the whole show, or I'll get something a few days later, even a month later. Yeah, that show was pretty good. I'm like, why didn't you hit the button? So,
I know.
You know what I mean? So at least you're doing something for more than 2 to 5 people. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest ones.
Well,
nope. Rachel, ladies first.
Okay.
Or second. That's fine. I don't always need to go first. I mean,
Jim,
but I appreciate it. There's,
you're done, Will.
You're learning. You're learning new platforms. You're learning software. You're learning, like you said, Mike. You're learning algorithms, and you're learning social media's ways of doing things, and trying to blend that in the way that you're trying to learn and you're trying to do things. It's an integration and it's a process. It's a learning process like anything. I can hit glitches at any time, software issues, tech issues, any station. In fact, I'll tell you something. I'm listening to one of my former stations today in Atlanta. I won't name the station, but boy, did they have a situation today. I'm listening, I'm doing errands, I'm driving around, and they were playing Faith by George Michael, I'll tell you that. And great song. Something happened, and I can tell you that CDs are not done. This is all computerized, okay? I can tell you that right now. So you're going to, it sounded like it was a CD skipping, and it was not a CD skipping. There was something wrong in the computer. So most likely this was not human error at all. And boy, did I not want to be in that jock's position live in the studio as this was going, because this was not just one thing. It was a glitch and they fixed it. They thought they fixed it. It went to another song, went to a commercial, went back to a song, and then goes back to Faith by George Michael. Skipping. This happened over. I'm listening because I really wanted to see what was going to happen. So I turn the station.
It's like watching a train wreck.
It was like listening to one. Exactly. And I was like, oh God. And this is the station I used to be on. And I was like, I told myself, okay, the alarm, they have like a alarm sort of like light that goes on, letting our engineers know that something's wrong. So most likely there was an engineer in there. There was a program director in there. The jock was probably standing back like, I didn't do it. I swear. I don't know what happened. I was doing my job. And then all of a sudden, so this,
I didn't touch anything.
It's, and your heart rate it's an anxiety that I don't miss. So this was a glitch in the computer at one of the most major radio stations in the country. And it just kept happening over and over and over. And they kept trying to get to another song and it would go right back. So they probably had to do a reset of the entire system, which means dead air, or they had to go to a backup generator. It's a bunch of jargon that us jocks are not trained. We're not trained like engineers are trained.
No.
So I just thought to myself, yeah, this is one of those things that I don't miss about life.
Have you ever seen somebody get fired for that?
No, absolutely not. This is not a human being's fault. And this was something that happened in the computer. No. And it would be a lawsuit if they got fired for that. No. In today's climate, no. I would have to confidently say no. But glitches can happen at any time. It certainly happened on my show. And I used to, I'll tell you something, just as human beings here, I don't want to say the former Rachel, but a while back, little things like that would really get to me, and they'd really bother me. And behind closed doors, I would be stressing, and that doesn't help anything. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to make you feel any better. I've really gotten better with that, I gotta say. And this is all behind closed doors. But if something goes wrong, I tell myself, this is an accident that I knew nothing about, and it will be fixed from my end. And I will take responsibility and apologize, fix it, and move on. And that's the best we can do. So things are going to happen. Human error, computer error is going to happen. But like we were saying before we all got on air together tonight, that, StreamYard, I have had issues with in the past doing interviews that I wanted to go perfectly, of course. Perfectly.
Of course.
And
you always want the interviews to go perfectly.
But yeah. So it makes it feel great when things go right.
Right. And when they, I'll get like a dog barking every now and then. I don't want a dog barking, but can I do anything about it? Nope. I mean, so I get a dog barking every now and then.
Life happens.
It happens. And it's like, I hate it, but it's like, I could either sit here and stress about it and go, oh my God, he's barking again, and run out there, shut the dog. I'm way over that. It's like, he's just got something to say. So it's like, he's out there listening to the show. So he wants to interject something. So it's cool.
Yes.
He's part of the family. Right.
Hand it to you,
Will. Over to the Queen. Come on.
You're such a dick.
So
for me, I'm gonna take up a phrase that Jay Oakley came up with. I am tech wrecked, like completely tech wrecked. And previously doing the show at Toxic Studios, it was worth it for me to travel the 2.5 hour, John up there to pay Francolino and Toxic Radio to handle all that stuff. So I could just, I could do this right here. I could sit in front of the mic and in front of the camera and talking to the mic, and everybody else around me is controlling those things. And that's awesome. But, now this is the other thing why I'm waiting for a while to come back to, because now that I have all this at my utilization, I have to learn this.
You have to learn it.
Don't get me wrong. Toxic Radio is still going to be, rock metal radio is still going to go through Toxic. But most of the stuff will be done here now instead of me taking that 2-hour trip north.
Right.
Signal sent out through a Toxic, they put it out there. So now I'm like, again, being tech wrecked. Every time, Eric D comes in and shows me something, or Chris Wheel shows me something, or somebody shows me something, I have to break out my phone and videotape what they're showing me and telling me, because if I'm not hands-on doing it at the moment, I'm not going to retain it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when people are explaining to me things, I really have to take on, and I get it. Everybody's like, oh, you can YouTube anything. I'm like, no, I'm going to trust it from people I know in the business that know how to work this kind of equipment so that I don't screw it up. So I don't have moments where it is human error, mine, and something goes horribly wrong. Because if you all know, you know me, I would feel mortified by that. You know what I mean? Like, just not for me, not for the show, but for the band that, like Rachel said, the interview that you're doing or whatever it is, there's a certain thing. You don't have that interview or you don't have that band on your show without there being a certain reason for it, whatever that reason may be. And when we do these things, we get very excited about them because they mean a lot to us.
Right.
And if I was on the end of making something really bad happen, dude, I would hate that. So, I'm on a learning curve and I'm learning all this tech stuff, and it's very challenging for a 52-year-old man to finally go in and start learning the tech side of things. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, it's interesting because, again,
and rewarding.
When you love music and when you love the industry, whether it be the stuff like this or on camera or just, any facet of it, if you're a true, inspired person by this industry, you're going to want to soak up everything you can and learn everything you can, because that just feeds your passion. It's like, a lot of people's passions can fizzle out if they're not fed correctly. You know what I mean? If they're not, if you don't have people around you, and I don't mean people that are yes men and women saying, you're great, you're awesome. I don't mean people like that, but when you have bona fide people that are willing to share their information with you, then you should be willing to soak that stuff up. You know what I mean? And pay attention to what's going on. And truthfully, I mean, honestly, guys, everything on the internet now that's, podcast related or whatever, the reason it thrives and it does well is because, there are limitations to what terrestrial radio will allow and won't allow. Okay. There are
a lot of limitations.
Yeah. There's
tons.
Nobody would know like you specifically, sweetheart. You know what I mean? And Jim as well. But it's like, there are so many restrictions that are put on. Let's put it in perspective. Let's go way back. Okay. Let's go back 1956, 1957, 1958, where the DJ was up on the corner playing in a big glass booth, basically for people to walk up and request things and to listen to him do his radio show and watch him do it. And that dude could play whatever he wanted. He could, if the doo-wop band that's been singing down on the corner for 6 months went in and tracked a 45 and came back up to that DJ and said, hey man, can you play this? Most times the DJ would listen to it for half a second and go, yep. And then turn it around and boom. And we've got this, and we just play it. Well, terrestrial radio handcuffed all that. You know what I mean? They didn't allow. You think of how many DJs are responsible now for big, huge bands. Think about that. Okay. You think about how many DJs, 50s and 60s especially, played a band that they liked. They thought their audience, I'm going full circle. They thought their audience would like. They played it. All of a sudden, in one town in the middle of nowhere in the United States, there's a FM radio station that is playing this song in rotation. That's an unsigned band, and it's getting killer feedback, and they're playing it 3 and 4 times a day, but it's only in that city. You know what I mean? But now, through this medium, we get to be those DJs. We get to be the DJs that literally, had somebody come up to them on the street sometimes and said, hey, I really love what you do. I'm in this band. I mean, we've all had, damn well, we've all had people that have come up to us and said, hey, I'm in this band. You should check us out. You know what I mean? This platform gives us the ability to be old school DJs again. You know what I mean? We play what resonates with us, what we feel is going to resonate with our audience that likes the same things that we do. I love that I'm coming in as a novice. Obviously, you guys all have experience doing this. I'm 2 years in or whatever. And I love the idea. I mean, look at me, dude. I'm as nostalgic as hell. I got an analog board in my place. You know what I mean? 2 of them. I got one in the live space. I'm a fan of a lot of these old things. And I've made comments before about how, you can take pieces of the past, okay, and use those pieces of the past to grow what you're currently doing. And again, I look at us as old school DJs, man. We don't care what any corporate says because we don't need to. You know what I mean? We just have to worry about us and our fans. And I love that is kind of a nostalgic thing, man. And that's what makes me want to keep doing it.
None of us would be doing this if terrestrial radio didn't let us all down.
True.
True.
Very true. It has let everybody down, us 4. And and everyone that listens to internet radio, terrestrial radio, and now even Hair Nation, Ozzy's Boneyard, they're not playing your new stuff.
Nope.
They're not playing your European stuff. They're not playing the bands out of Brazil like Christian the Chronicles. They're not playing this.
It's the same format.
Right.
It's the same format as FM.
The FM stations used to have the homegrowns for an hour on Sundays or Saturdays. They used to have special 2-hour shows. In Gatlinburg, I don't know if you heard it, Rachel. In Gatlinburg, I was listening to the radio station. Dee Snider's House of Hair was on. I was like, what? And I'm turning it up. I'm like, oh my God, the House of Hair. And it was like them shows that they used to do 2-hour shows. Now, internet radio is doing that where
that you want. Exactly.
Right. FM radio has let everybody down, even to their DJs, because half their DJs are out here doing the internet radio thing now.
Right. Because there's no freedom like there used to be in FM radio, and a jock could really be a personality and was encouraged to be so. I've got a great friend in Kentucky. She was a radio star, you guys, in Los Angeles. She was one of the first women on the air, I think, period, in Southern California in the late 70s, early 80s. And what she's been through in radio, she's still on it. She's in her 70s. She's still on a little station in Kentucky. She's still on the air. And she has seen radio, change, do a complete 180 from when she could play requests. They wrote everything down in pencil. They played music off a cart machine, which is similar to an 8-track player. It's unreal. And the freedom on a major radio station is just not there, honestly. And the stations, one station that I was on here in Atlanta, I had no freedom on. Absolutely none. And when I was on it, I worked with great people, but I wasn't exactly enjoying my time on the air. And to me, that just defeats the purpose of a DJ. A DJ should be a personality relating to an audience, creating a relationship with that audience. Hopefully they'll want to stay with you. If not, that's fine. That's fine.
DJs were always called radio personalities.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, but FM, they only went so deep. They only went 2 or 3 deep. And you got a whole album of stuff that you can play. And they never went down there.
Exactly. And it's not about artistry. It's not about talent. It's not about how great a song is. It's not about it at all. Whomever said radio has become more about sponsorship. Absolutely. Radio is only about shareholders and advertisers.
Yep.
They're about business. Yep. They are a business. They are a business. But they need to keep their audience listening. So in order to do that, they're going to play the hits. And they're going to integrate personalities, some stations more than others.
Right.
Some stations you're stifled and can't do anything. Others, you have a little bit more freedom.
I've always been the one to buy the whole thing.
That give their jocks more freedom. I'm being honest. It's the country stations that give their jocks more freedom. They do more. They talk about what songs mean. They do little interview excerpts before going into songs. That's unheard of on a rock station. But if a rock station did it, that would only create more of a relationship with their audience.
Absolutely.
How can you lose? How can you lose?
You can't
at all.
all.
And honestly,
you nailed it. Hit the nail on the head, Rachel. I mean, that's where they all lost us. Now.
I think part of that too, Mike.
Advertisers.
What?
It's about advertisers.
It is
about advertisers,
and I think part of that too. And I'm not saying that I know this for a fact, but I'm pretty smart about a lot of these things. I think radio, you can contribute greed and stuff in general to what's killed FM radio, but something else too that a lot of people aren't factoring in. Record labels came in and set the tone for what radio stations were going to do. The radio stations started being dictated by the major labels. And once that happens, and what is it, Rachel? You can probably confirm this. Isn't it something like 3 or 4 major companies that own all the radio stations currently in the U.S.?
There's about 3 major, huge companies, Cumulus, iHeart, and there's some smaller ones as well, Entercom. There's a bunch. But a lot of these conglomerates took over former radio companies.
Right.
So when I was on a station here, it was owned by Lincoln Financial. They're a financial company. They're not, it's all about what they can acquire. They don't know the radio business, Yeah. But now it's not owned. Now it's owned by a larger company. But yes, as far as the big companies, there's like the three huge ones.
Right. And
is that the ones that every 10 years change what you're going to listen to?
That's them. But again, I think that's the labels too. I think when the labels got involved and heavy rotation, and I'll go back to, and this is, it's sticking out in my head for one main reason, because this is when, for me, as much music that was going on in the 80s and in the early 90s, especially when boy bands and these freaking producer put together entertainment acts that were put together by producers that were hired by record labels, when all that started getting heavy in the late 80s or even early 80s, I mean, you think about it, but right all up in that area, it seems like that's where the transition in radio happened. Okay, number one, in the 80s, AM radio pretty much died out as far as playing music. AM radio became all talk. You know what I mean? Yep. When AM radio was,
early 80s.
AM radio is what I grew up on when I was in California.
Oh, easy.
You know what I mean? KFRC, which was the AM rock radio station in San Francisco. I think it was KFRC.
WJET.
So we all had them growing up.
We all know it.
somewhere in that late 70s, early 80s, the AM radio transitioned right the hell out of Dodge. And then you had this takeover in the 80s of, okay, if you are a rock station, you're going to play the stereotypical, here's the 40 song playlist. You're going to rotate this in a bunch of different ways over the course of a 24-hour period. And then when the big conglomerates came in and bought up all of them, and they set up specifically, all our rock stations will play this format, these songs. All our pop stations will play this artist. These, you know what I mean? It became so cookie cutter and force fed, and music fans aren't likely to be force fed their music. You know what I mean? That stuff has to happen organically with music, people. You either feel something in a song, whether it be lyrically or musically, or you don't. It's not to say that the band or the artist isn't good. It's based on what a person feels. You know what I mean? And all that's gone when they're trying to force feed and do all this stuff. And, even modern metal now, for me, I have a real hard time with some of these new bands because the guitars sound exactly the same as these 5 bands. The vocal sounds exactly the same as these 5 bands. You know what I mean? I'm not taking away from their talent as musicians, but the sound isn't there anymore. There's not much in new music that resonates. Rick Beato, I don't know if any of you guys follow him. Rick Beato does a bunch of really cool stuff on YouTube, and he did a thing about what was wrong with current metal and what he thought were the reasons why current metal was just, to the ear even, not that good. And his 2 points were auto-tune and lack of the blues. Those 2 things in hard rock music is what's totally changed the genre completely. And he's not wrong. I mean, I won't speak to the the auto-tune stuff as much, but when you take blues as the basic root, man, I mean, whether it be country music, let's take the 3 major, formats: R&B, country, and rock. They're all based in the blues. All that music going way back. The reason it resonated with people, and it still does, is because of that basic root that is the blues. When you take that basic root out of something, it becomes completely polished, and it becomes just, it's not real. You know what I mean? It's
Plus, if you think about the blues, the source of that is passion and emotion.
Exactly.
And those 2 things are what reaches human beings.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sure you guys do as well. That is my number one goal. No matter how tired I am, no matter how much I might not feel like it. It's got, I know I have somewhere, and I can, get it out the best I can. But if I can just have a little bit with each show, it's going to reach my audience, and it's going to give them what they deserve.
Yeah.
Because yes, they love the music for sure, but it's a relationship that's created that I worked to create since 2015.
And when you have that passion like you have, right when you sit down to that mic or put on the headphones, it's like you instantly become bam. Now I'm not tired. Now I know what I'm going to do. I got this. It's like a transformation.
Like I press a button. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly.
When you find a band that has all them intertwined, it's just a perfect mix. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Cinderella has everything intertwined there. You got the blues. They got countries in there.
Yep.
Yes. It's just perfect, And
now I found a new band. And Rachel, I'm almost positive you were right there with me in the same room. But Cody Parks and the Dirty South. I mean, you might not.
I miss them.
Did you?
Yeah.
They were so good. They gave me goosebumps, and that doesn't happen much anymore. Some bands will give you them goosebumps, and it's like they took country and infused the Sunset Strip rock riffs and this and that and the lyrics, and they would change up these lyrics to do this for them, and you could tell where they're going because they're releasing their own music, but then in their show they're mashing up some stuff, and it's like, I'm looking at Jeff standing next to Atlanta Jeff Assisi standing next to me. I'm like, I gotta book these guys. He's like, okay, we'll run them through Atlanta, then down to Charleston. I'm thinking Myrtle. And I'm like, these guys I want you, when you get something like that, okay, I immediately played it on the radio the next week. But you want to get it to people. And I know you three are just as like passionate about it. You're like, how do I get this to more people? More people have to hear this. They have to see these guys. I can't just talk about it. I've got to do something. And it's like you feel that, and and hopefully that comes out, which it comes out in your show, Rachel, and Will, absolutely, and Jim, absolutely. But when you could feel it, and then you could portray that and grab somebody, and I've got to hear this. Rachel says I've got to listen to this, so I've got to, because I love what Rachel's taste. It's just one of them things. You just
we become trusted sources is what happens. You know what I mean?
And that's the truth.
That's when you introduce people to enough new stuff that you're trying to bring to your show and bring to the table for you get a reputation after a while. It's like if you do your shows right, you're going to put good quality bands on, and if you're doing something live with them, you're going to make sure that they sound good and that they're good a live band, or you're not going to put them on their show. So those are things that are super important. You know what I mean? And it, again, I'm a clown in all this. I mean, I really look at the way you guys all do this, especially Rachel. And
he's got to start being better to himself, Rachel. I mean, come on.
No, it's not about
he doesn't
that.
listen.
He doesn't listen. He just thinks he's a clown. I mean, Wendy, smack him.
Talk to the man.
Talk to this guy.
It's not about that. It's totally not about that. It's about knowing where my level of knowledge is in this business and respecting what somebody else does.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm nothing. I'm not talking down to myself, but in the room currently, I'm nothing, because these two and three of you, all of you again, and I look at it. I look at it from an aspect.
I'm less than you. If you're not putting me less than you, then you've been drinking too much today already.
Shut up, Battaraco.
It took a little longer than I thought, but it came out.
I think Mike. Anytime Mike asks me to come on any of his shows, I think he knowingly is like, I'm going to push his buttons a little bit here and a little bit there and see how far.
Why not?
Just understand that I respect what you guys do, and especially the work ethic that Rachel and Jimmy put into their shows. It's insane. You guys are what's cool about what we do, because you do take it personal. You do, I'm not saying I don't take my stuff personal. I don't take it for real, but I'm a fly by my seat of my pants guy. I always have been. And that's what works for me. You know what I mean? And my show resonates with some people because of that, because it's like they are. So again, we all have our listening group and we all have people that listen to us, but the reason they listen to us is because we become a trusted source. You know what I mean? For me, when it's something local, local or regional that most people outside of here aren't going to know about, and I say, hey, look, I'm going to throw this band on there. Or if I put them on a show here at the studio, most people, because of the reputation that we've already built, are going to say, never heard of that band, but I'm going to check them out. You know what I mean? Because it comes from a reliable source. And you know, we in a sense, it's going to sound really weird and kind of egotistical, but we're historians because we are preserving what was good about the music in the eras that we grew up in. Okay. And we're preserving it enough to where we can present it to a younger band coming up that didn't know that specific artist and said, you know, you listen to them play something, you're like, you know what, I bet they'd really dig whatever. And you introduce them to that artist. I mean, this is what we're here for. Again, we are the old school DJs. We're here to play what people want to hear. We want to be a voice of the people. And that sounds cocky and that sounds strong, but truthfully, we are the voices of our people, our family. You know what I mean? We're the ones that decided to say, okay, well, we're going to take that next step and we're going to do a radio show or we're going to do a podcast, and we pay attention to what we're doing. And we, you know, I love getting inspired by Rachel. I love getting inspired by Jimmy. I love getting inspired by Mike. I love being inspired by people that do this stuff for a living because they're better than I am. And that's what I was getting at with that whole conversation. It's like, I love taking those little pieces. I wish I had a cadence. My cadence is completely different than what Jimmy does and what Rachel does, but I love and respect their cadences in what they do. You know what I mean?
I think it all comes back to being yourself. Being yourself is what's going to reach people. To me, that is number one. You know, and also, I think it would be a little cocky of me or with anybody to expect people to stick around forever or expect people to be into you and just stay that way forever. You know, if somebody opts out, that's totally fine. Right. That's, you know, look, there's groups I've been added to and whatever, I'll take myself out. If somebody takes themselves out of my group, I don't take it offensively or how dare you do that, or I don't have unrealistic expectations. I think it's so important. You know, do we lose interest in stuff as people? Of course we do.
Of course
we do. Even if it's something that might be down our alley generally. So the listeners that have stuck with me since day one, that are there every week, a lot of them were at Monsters on the Mountain. So it's always amazing to see them in person because that hardly ever happens. Right. But those, I mean, that's priceless.
Yeah.
I look at that as like the ultimate that we could hope for doing this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
They're sticking with me. I'm sticking with them. And if they continue to love what they hear or like what they hear, then I'm doing my job. Plus, it's awesome when a community forms. You guys must have seen that on your pages as well.
Exactly.
Now there's friends. They can be based all over the country, even all over the world. They would not have been friends, maybe, if it weren't for your show.
It's true.
Exactly.
Literally, relationships and friendships are being formed. And to me, again, that's what it's about for me. I love the music. I love playing it. I love talking about it. But the people are number one to me. I talk to human beings first, rock fans second. And I've said that for years and years. When do you understand? Thank you. Love these comments. Thank you guys for all your comments. Yeah, your audience here, Mike.
Right.
Amazing.
Hey, they're amazing. And you know, like you said, okay, not trying to toot my own horn, but I have gotten friends, you know, people that listen and this and that. And when you go to events, you have got to be accessible. If someone comes up and says hi, you stop what you're doing and you say hi. If I want to go see Quiet Riot and I'm dying to see Quiet Riot and I just got Jen that come up to me and said, hey man, and she wants to talk, I'm missing Quiet Riot.
Right.
Because I love the people. I love the relationships that are getting formed. I love, you know, talking to people. I just love it. And I love live music, but that'll happen again. There might be something in this conversation that I may never get again, or I may never get the chance to talk to this person again because what happens, you don't promise tomorrow. So if you're taking the time to grab my shoulder and say, hey, how's it going? I'm stopping and saying hi because people will remember. They don't remember. They will always remember how you treat them or how you make them feel.
Yep.
And I try to make people feel like you do, Rachel. you do, Will. You make them feel like they are number one in your life right at that moment. And they are. And it's not fake. It's genuine.
Yeah, because when you're talking music, it just comes out. It's in your blood. And when somebody asks your opinion on something, whether they like it or not, you're going to give it to them. Me and Will have talked a million times. Like, literally, we'll be on the phone for an hour and a half. I'll be like, Will's calling.
That was the other night.
Right. And you're going to be on the phone for an hour and a half.
And you sit there like this and you go, the hair stands up because you're talking music. And then, you'll hit a good point or a bad point, but it's all good. Because if music doesn't affect you in the heart, you're already dead.
Right. And that is, it's exactly right. And it's music, Morg, M3, M3 2015 to be exact, but then the Morks and the Monsters on the Mount, and then the little shows, the one-off shows here and there where you can connect with people. Like I've had Rachel, hey, Mike, are you going to this show in Atlanta? I'm going. I didn't make it. Or are you going here? Are you going to be there? And we each check in with each other as we're going to different areas and be like, are you going to be here? Are you going to be there? Are you going? And then you find out people are going and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be a reunion. We're going to talk all night. We're never going to see the show, but it's going to be fucking great. Half the time the bands are looking at the pages going, ain't nobody going to be paying attention to us tonight. We can, and it's like, it's such a great feeling that, I love it.
The networking, you guys, Rachel, especially, talking about networking, everybody talking about networking. The one thing that I've learned, I started out with, getting into the bands and managing bands and all that stuff before I started doing radio. But what I found out in radio, it is zero difference than being in a band. It's the exact same format. You want to meet as many people as you possibly can. You want to connect with like-minded people as many as you possibly can, because it pushes both of you. You know what I mean? It takes what you do and what they do to the next level. You know what I mean? So when a band is networking with other bands and venue owners and promoters and stuff like that, radio's got to be the same way. And I think there's a lot of people that are coming around to that. There's still quite a few podcasters out there that, like everybody else, there's an ego, what we do is egocentrical kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we have egos and we're crazy about it, but it's just like a guitar player, a guitar player in a band playing a guitar. He plays an ego instrument. You know what I mean? That's just the makeup of the things. It doesn't mean that he's going to be egotistical, but there's a thing that kind of comes with that. So my contrast or my comparison here is literally, there is no reason why people that do podcasts and internet radio shouldn't be networking the same way bands do.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, I have 15 listeners. Jim's got 15 listeners. Mike's got 15 listeners. You know what I mean?
I got 15. Holy shit.
Rachel's got like 3,000 in countries abroad all over.
5,000 in just one neighborhood. It's
right. But it's again, you have 4 different platforms, 4 different levels of whatever. But if we all pulled all of those fans together, you know what I mean? Now there's a group that is connected to all 4 of us for whatever reason. So our numbers went from this to poof, just because we all get along and we decided, okay, let's do something here together, or let's do something here together. That networking is no different in radio, or shouldn't be, I should say. Right. It shouldn't be any different in radio, especially internet radio, when we're all allowed to do and say whatever the F we want. Right. You know what I mean? And there's if you've noticed, I've curbed my language for the most part tonight.
You did tonight.
Yes, there's
something to that. I need, I'm going to reserve the F-bombs when they really need to be let out. But
hold on, Will, you all right?
Yeah.
Got a fever.
I'm good.
Now, when we are out, the main thing that we do is get the band's music out there. Yep. When we are out, this is just how I feel. You guys feel the same way. Say you do. I feel that, I'm kind of like a middleman between the band and the listeners that they want. And if I'm promoting like Tango Down, and I'm playing their music and I'm interviewing them and about 10 other bands and this and that, and I'm out there ignoring people and being a jackass and not really being a nice guy, then then my say doesn't mean anything anymore. Right. Then what I'm trying to do is null and void because I've just taken myself right out of the equation. But if you're out there being the best person you could be, a nice human, just a great person, that's better for the bands that you're trying to get people to listen to.
Again, you're a trusted source of information. Right. So whether it be on the radio or you bringing a band up onto stage, that dynamic doesn't change. You know what I mean? That's, you saying, look, every band needs a champion, multiple champions, truthfully. And if you can be up on a stage, no matter whether it's the band around the corner or a national coming through, and you can be as passionate as you are authentically, Mike, you're finding this out now, Mike, because you're starting to put together shows. Okay. People trust you. Okay. When you're putting on a live show, that you're going to bring them good entertainment. So they don't ask questions anymore. They want to come. You want to continue to keep doing that. You know what I mean? Because that's what you want to provide to people. Like you said, you feel like you need to get the music out there. You need to do that. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop doing that. You're going to learn and evolve, just like I've been doing with starting to put on shows a couple years ago. You know what I mean?
And we all learn and evolve and boom.
And it's a vital part. It's a vital part of what we do, being music caretakers, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's for you to say, I want to be involved and I want to get the music out there. Put yourself between the fan and the band. Purposely do it, because I know you. I know your heart. If you're into a band like that, you're the perfect person for that band to have on that specific show at that specific time, because it's your audience as much as it is theirs.
Right.
Follow me?
And you can feel when you, Rachel, Jim, Wendy Chandler, and any one of these DJs that I listen to, you could feel when they feel something about a band. And, they are very good at, Rachel, there's many times I gotta write it down. And you write it down. It's like, hey, would you go a little slower, Rachel? I just missed it. And it's like,
just hit me up.
You're right, and I will. I'll message her. Hey, what was song 3?
Yeah, just know a lot of people do that. Yeah, I'll happily tell them. Absolutely. Yeah. I have all. This is where I keep all my playlists right here in a notepad. And if it gets too old, I'll delete them. But that's where I keep my playlist, because I'm hoping people are going to hit me up and ask, what was the song you played after? And people do. Right. But I generally announce every song I play. But I don't expect everybody to hear every word I say either.
Oh, I'm always looking for a pen. I'm like, I know she's going to say it soon and I can't find a pen.
I do the same thing, but you still get text messages and messages on Facebook and inbox all the time. Fine. What did you play? What was the 5th song you played?
Exactly.
But now you're getting that
interaction,
human to human interaction.
Yeah.
So now they feel comfortable. Boom. Whether it not be a friend, whether it be somebody that doesn't know you, just tuning in. Now you've got that interaction. Now you'll probably get a Facebook friend request. You get this, you get that. Boom. Now you got somebody you're going to see at a show. Now you've gained another friend. You've gained another person in your life, which that is what it's all about. Then you can connect with that person, get more music to them. Now they look to you and go, hey, that's why I do this show. Okay, if others are looking to me for something, well, now let's point them in directions of other people I listen to.
There you go. That's the networking.
Because it is a community. It is not just about me. It is about everybody. And that's what I've learned about this whole community is it is all for all. There's some that are out there and not interested in that, but it's all for all. Hey, go do your thing. I'm not going to judge anybody, but it's like I love the tight knit of the community that I'm a part of.
And didn't you feel that in abundance at Monsters on the Mountain?
Are you kidding me? It was like, dude, I wanted to go back and just do it all over again. It was really so good this year. It was like, oh my God. It was amazing.
M3 around really here is
awesome. It was wonderful. And I got to meet Terry. You got to meet Jeff. That was pretty awesome.
It was great, and it's a, it was like Morgue. Instead, we had text messages. I mean, you could text each other. It was like I could know where people are at all times. And that got a little crazy because people would be like, I'm over by the stairwell. And then you get another person. I'm all the way over here. I'm outside and I'm in the front. I'm at the pizza joint. It's like, I can't go everywhere. And then you just want to throw your phone and go, forget it. Let's go back on the ship. But it was so odd. I loved every minute of that Gatlinburg. I loved every second of it. It just was not. There was not one bad part about it. Not one thing that I could have said, this is what they should have done differently. I loved every single, the people there were amazing. The bands were great. It was just, I want to do it all over again.
It's the family environment, man.
That's what it is. And that's what it is. That's what makes it so special.
That's why I go back to M3 every year.
Exactly.
You know, you go for the music, sort of. But the people is really what you want to see because you've made lifelong friends. Like Will
and a lot of the
Mike,
bands, as great as they are. I mean, I've seen Kicks at least 10 times. I love them, but I've seen Night Ranger a number of times. But if it weren't for the family, I wouldn't have been there. Probably.
Yes, right. That's
I
it.
wouldn't have spent the money and taken the time off work and all of that.
Right.
The family was honestly number one. The band icing on the cake, I feel like.
Exactly.
But the bands were phenomenal.
We do the tailgate.
Wild America was great. Those guys.
Wild America kicked ass.
They're fantastic.
Billy DiNapoli. I'm kidding, Billy. DiNapoli. I called him DiNapoli one day.
I think I messed it up too.
Murdered me, man. So now I call him DiNapoli, DiNapoli. DiNapoli.
DiNapoli.
I murder his name every time I see him. Just so
He's such a freak.
Who mentioned WKRP and who mentioned
that was
Wham?
That was Lori Nickel. Lori Nickel. He's
I like Careless Whisper a lot.
Careless Whisper.
I'm gonna love it.
You know what? I have to go with that one myself. I think that song is that one.
Okay.
Yes. It's better than
you deserve to have your question answered. I just don't know who that is. So
that was Lori Nickel. He lives in Australia.
Oh, nice.
He's always in here, so I love him to death.
That's so
he
cool.
Has never gone on Morgue, but he knows Dave Stabley, and I met him through Dave Stabley, who does production for So I met him through Dave, which the family kind of thing. I would have never met. If I never went to M3 2015, I would have never went on Morgue. I would have never went to Monsters on the Mount. I would have never met half the people I know.
Yep.
It's just
2015, man.
That was it. Pinpoint one part of your life that you made the absolute right decision. And M3 2015 was the absolute right decision I ever made.
That's what we need to do, Mike. We need to count our right decisions a lot more than we count our wrongs.
This is what I'm talking about.
Like you really kind of hit it on the head there without realizing, I think. Honestly, we need to count our rights a little more than we count our wrongs. We're going to make mistakes. We're not perfect. But I think so many of that brings us to where we are because now we have the wisdom and we have the knowledge and we have tools that we didn't have years ago. Exactly. I say that a lot because I'm passionate about it, honestly.
Right. And it's absolute truth. Absolute truth.
2015 was the best year because it was the last in line, Killer Dwarfs, YNT. Just to name a few.
Taiketo.
Wow.
Europe.
Was that the year of the visa problems?
That was Tom Kiefer was in the
Tom
Kiefer.
Now,
Tom Kiefer, 2015. Tom Kiefer was headlining the side stage in the back in the woods. And we were all back there jamming it out. And I know Mike was there. Everybody remembers this. Tom Kiefer, you could hear Europe had started their set on the main stage. And Tom Kiefer, there it is. Tom and his wife. That was that show. So Tom Kiefer is playing his set, and I guess 2 stages the way they used to run it. Things were running long here, whatever. And Europe's playing on the main stage. Nobody leaves. Nobody leaves the side stage. Dude, everybody's still hanging out, watching Kiefer. And the thing was, Kiefer had everybody.
It was like a campfire.
But yeah, he had everybody.
He had you, and you're
right
just
there.
watching,
there
and
it
you
is.
couldn't leave, and you're like, it felt like everybody's just, because he's telling stories. He's got his wife sitting up there looking at him like that, and it's like, I mean, you're just like, you never wanted it to end. And it was like, and I got that picture. That guy was not, he had that picture on his site. And I'm like, dude, how much? And he's like, I don't sell my pictures. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I explained to him how Tom Kiefer made me feel and how that show made me feel. And how it was like a campfire and just sitting in the woods and just somebody up there with a guitar, telling stories and rocking. It just felt like family. But at the end of that, he sent me a message. He goes, all right, I don't sell my prints, but you're getting this one. He's like, he's like, here, send me your address. You get to have this print because
and that's how it is there.
Yeah,
that's how it was. Yeah. I mean, when they took away that stage, I was kind of bummed.
I was still bummed.
Yeah,
big time.
I mean, it's now.
I've seen Y&T was over there many times. Killer Dwarves were over there that year.
It's
intimate.
I was actually wondering because I haven't been to an M3 since 2019.
Yeah, they haven't done.
That was the last one. They got rid of it. I didn't realize that.
That was the last 6. Yeah.
Was it 17?
18, I think.
Was it 18?
I think 18 was the last year of the side stage.
But I wish they bring that back because that was a lot of fun.
No, I don't think it was in
2019. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. Okay.
No, I don't think so. But regardless, that night was just epic. I mean, that year's M3 was just epic. Again, like Mike said and Jim said, I met everybody that means everything to me in my life right now. I met at that show. I'd been going to M3 for years, you know what I mean? But I'd always go by myself. It was, I'd see a couple people here or there that I grew up with. And then, and we all know this, that M3 Rocker site. That year, I got involved with that. And I was like, who are all these freaks? Oh, my God, these are my people. And then when I met them, 2015, the night of the pre-party.
Running the other direction.
I mean, dude, it was amazing. Just the immediate electricity that year with the people, with the fans. We talk about all the time, Rachel mentioned it, Jim mentioned it. You got a lot of the same things here, there. I've seen this band a lot. I've seen this. M3 really became the soundtrack for the reunion. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's great. The bands are great. Even if you've heard it a million times, it's fine because you're going to go have a conversation for the next 45 minutes of that set with somebody you haven't seen in a year. And it's going to be an amazing conversation. And you've got amazing music going on in the background. It's music doesn't have to be forefront. Why do you think there's soundtracks in movies?
Right.
And then while you're listening and having that conversation with that person, there's going to come a song that band is going to play that you both connect with. And you both go, oh my God. And you both have stories and you both share the stories and then you get to know each other on a deeper level.
Or you both run to the stage.
I've been known to do that a couple times.
And just before, when you're in a parking lot, you're meeting everybody and then Old School starts playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like, I'm home. When I told Will, when I go back there, I step through the gates. It's like Field of Dreams. My hair comes back. I don't wear glasses. Right. I'm like, Jesus,
don't work on it. They got powders for the hair, man. I mean, I'm starting on this powder regimen because I think it's thinning pretty bad. It's like it's not as full as it used to be. And it's like,
that's why I went. That's why I went to the Mohawk, dude. Right. It gets too thin.
You both still got more.
It's like I can say it's just.
That would be a whole other podcast right there.
Rachel, you're in on that one because you got the best hair of them all.
Oh my gosh, I wish that was true. I get hair envy, you guys. Nothing stops it. I get hair envy. It doesn't matter, male, female, plant, animal. If it has hair down to here, I'm like,
I'm touching it, baby.
It's
Is
I
that your
get
next?
a little envious. I'm not
Is
gonna
that
lie.
is that your next podcast? Here we
There
are.
we go. Here we are.
A lot of time. A lot of time, man. I don't have
There
it.
we go. I don't have it. All right. Well, it just ran over, and I knew it was. I knew it was going to run over. But anything else? Just name your show, tell the times, where it's at, and
She goes first.
There you go.
All right. The name of the
Sorry.
show is Rachel's Rock Refuge, and it really is a refuge to the problems in the world. That is what it's meant to be. We don't talk about the problems in the world when the show is going on, and that's what it's meant for. It's meant to bring people together, like Mike was saying, like all of us have been saying tonight. And it airs on Tuesdays. It airs on 4 radio stations, 2 in the US and 2 in the UK. And just join the Rachel's Rock Refuge Facebook group for all the info, or DM me. No problem. I will answer you right back. So
she was right
plus
there.
you can listen on Mixcloud. Yes. And look up Rachel's Rock Refuge on Mixcloud for all of the replays.
Yep.
Very
Yes.
cool.
All right.
Jim.
No, get Will first. I'm going back because I got yelled at last time. So
Jim,
what the hell? All right, look. Rock Metal Radio, currently on hiatus. I am the redheaded stepchild, the punk rock kid down the street. I'm the guy that anything goes. Never know what's going to come out of my mouth. If you're into that sort of craziness, look it up on Facebook, Rock Metal Records. Rock Metal Radio. Records is the other thing. That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, that's it. I don't do anything. I'm the clown jester. I'm the jester clown. I'm the whatever.
Hey, we love you.
60-minute metal. 60-minute metal. Philly Rock Radio on Tuesdays at 7, Thursdays at 6. I start off with classic, wind up with thrash. If you don't like a section, tune out and come back.
Exactly.
Very easy.
Very easy. If you don't like a section, tune out, come back.
You don't like the thrash, turn it off before the thrash.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, what?
So there might be some listeners in here that are Rachel's that weren't privy to you before, and Jim's and mine as well. So why don't you introduce radio stuff that you do?
I do CGCM, rock radio. My show is Tuesdays, 6 p.m., Thursdays, 12 p.m., and Saturdays at 4 a.m. for our UK listeners. So it's 10 a.m., 11 a.m. there. But I'm all over the place. New, old, I'm all over the place. Classic, just rock. If it rocks, if it's a lot of new, whatever I'm into at the time, you're going to hear it. I mean, I'll create a playlist and just go with it. There's usually, I like to do theme shows. I like to do like 1982 or Sunset Strip or theme shows. They seem to go really good. You do that too, Rachel. Pretty much. You do that.
I do a triple play section, like a feature, and each triple play has a theme.
Yeah.
So I usually play a bunch of requests. I put in my own selections in there. But I have a triple play, and there's a theme to it each week. And a lot of those are requests as well. And my listeners come up with brilliant ideas. They know
brilliant.
And so a lot of those are listener driven, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Yep. So join the Facebook pages. I'll list them all tomorrow when I do my thank you to everybody. But I'll list the radio stations, where platforms, or the Facebook pages, or the websites you could go to find these wonderful people.
And it's 69-minute metal.
69-minute metal. We're at 9 more minutes, baby. Because 60 just isn't enough. That typo. I'll never get away from it. But it was a good typo, man. That was a kick-ass typo.
I was laughing my ass off when I seen that.
What the hell is this guy thinking of? You knew what it was. It's the fat finger crap. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Mike.
Jim. Love you all. Can't wait to see you all again. And I'll be with you on the airwaves.
Good luck to everybody.
Mike. This was a great idea. It was great to connect with everybody. Will and Wendy, I love you guys. I miss you. You're both in my heart. Always.
We love you.
I love you. And it was thanks to everybody that commented.
Yeah.
Mike, I don't know if you could see everybody, but Wendy Chandler, it was really great to hear from you. Wendy and my special someone, Jeff, said a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So thank you.
I got to meet that guy.
I'll talk to you later. Yeah.
Is he in here?
He's pretty awesome. Yes, absolutely. I was surprised because I didn't think he'd be able to tune in. So
You see that smile? You all see that smile she's got on her face when she talks about that guy?
Oh, Jeff. Yes. I saw. Okay.
That's how you know it's real. It's there. Real. That smile. And any guy
real.
Gonna keep,
and you know, I waited 3.5 years, Will.
I know you did, baby.
He
I
is.
know you did.
He's a cool. I figured he was going to be like, shy. Didn't talk. No, man, that dude's ready to talk. He's just like, it was an instant connection, and I love the guy. He's perfect. I'm almost certain he's got Rock family's blessing. He
absolutely.
Right on
he
in.
said really the same thing about you, Mike. If you want to, he said the same thing about you. So.
He's just a good guy, dude. He really is a good guy.
Anybody that can make her smile like that when she's thinking about him, I got to meet the dude because he's obviously the right guy.
Dude,
he really is. I want that to happen. He's never seen Maryland, Will. So.
You know, the Bendy Q's coming up in like 2 weeks.
We can't. I wish I could. I wish I could.
I
wish I could come. You know that. I love that you guys do that. Bendy Q.
It's all good, baby. There'll be plenty more to come. You can come next year.
I really hope we can make that happen. I really do.
Well,
I want him to see what makes Maryland special, all the amazing people. Plus, if I know Wendy said in one of her comments, she wishes that you and she could have been at Monsters on the Mountain. That just would have been epic. It would have been incredible. So it's a shame you guys couldn't come to that.
Well,
that's right. There'll be more of those too.
There's next year. You know damn well they ain't gonna stop doing them because everybody loves them. Yep. You also have Mork. You have M3. I mean,
I love that you call it Mork. That's so funny.
Mork. Mork. I call it Mork. Monsters of Rock Cruise, man. It's the.
I thought he was gonna go like that.
Oh, Nanu.
Nanu. That was a good show.
There's those sharks.
It was.
Mork and Minnie was the best.
Mork and Minnie was the best. Wasn't it great?
Nanu. Shuzbot.
I
love it. They gotta bring
his
that.
elder, who was like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, came out of the egg. Like it was
right.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Winters.
Yeah. That was the big guy. That was his son. But the one, the elder,
that little dude
that came from the planet or the other galaxy, came out of an egg.
Mork to Orson.
Calling Orson.
Orson. Oh my God, dude.
It was such a good show, you guys.
I watched that like maybe a year ago.
Go binge watch it now.
Thanks a lot. There went my weekend. Got Cobra Kai starting back up this week. So I'm going to be on the couch. I don't know if anybody else watches that.
Hold on. You're going to be on the couch watching Mork and eating your green cereal, right?
You damn right. I'm going to be
every time you post cereal posts, it like makes my day, Mike.
Dude, I can't have any.
Nobody does that but Mike. Like
you got to do it, man.
You
got to do it.
There's no way I was passing this up.
Didn't even know existed.
Right. And people send me cereal in the mail.
Are you kidding?
No.
Holy
Jessica
shit.
Connelford was her and Jen Rather were in Las Vegas. She went to the cereal store. She found a box of only marshmallows. Next thing you know, it's in my mailbox. I'm like, holy crap! I got only marshmallows. So people will be like, "Oh, dude, you gotta." They'll send me messages. Did you find this yet? I'm like, no, I haven't. Okay, I'll send you a box. I'm like, thank you. So it's like I got drug dealers that send me cereal and shit.
You got cereal groupies.
That's what a big deal your cereal posts are. I mean,
if I stopped doing them, people would be bummed out. That's my mindset. That they want to see this. I go grab. I'll get the cereal out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have this tonight, and I'll go run and get my phone. And my wife's looking at me like, "Gotta take a picture, don't you?" And my daughter's like, "Dad, you're crazy." I'm like, I've got to give the people what they want. They want cereal.
When I seen the green milk today, I was laughing hysterically.
Green milk, baby.
And always leave them wanting more, Mike.
Wanting more.
Wanting more.
You
Not
got
less.
it. What's he gonna? What's tonight's? And you can't do it every night. You got to do it like once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Right,
So,
can't be too
bam.
much. It can't be too much of a good thing.
Right, and you try not to do the same one in a year. You try to go and do another one.
You have a cereal strategy that you are just laying out.
When you have that many coming in there,
Procter and Gamble.
You have to
Procter
have
and
a
Gamble's
system.
got it.
You have to have a system.
You gotta have a system.
Really getting into your head right now, Mike.
Everybody.
yeah, he was born in Battle Creek.
This is just went away from the whole subject, didn't it? Go on. Oh my God.
Wendy, I love you. Thank you so much for saying that. That means the world.
We got more comments.
Side note to Wendy. But Wendy Sanasi, that is, and also
oh yeah, she's not. Now I'm gonna get yelled at.
Oh boy!
Oh, here we go. She bites her tongue a lot. I know. And then I love to poke the bear every now and then.
Don't poke that bear.
I have, and believe me, I'll be like, she'll say something unhealthy. She said something about cereal the other day. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wendy. Said something about cereal and this and that. I'm like, but don't tell me the marshmallows aren't healthy, because I know damn well they are. And she's like, Mike, and I think it got left at that just a little. And I was just like, I'm just kidding.
I got it the other day, Mike. They posted there's going to be tons of food to eat at BendyQ. I go, is Will allowed to eat there?
Right. Right.
And she's like,
dude,
real funny. I go, I got to get out of here real quick.
Cereal is from the devil. There she is.
There it is.
most are, Wendy. That's just especially
I'm telling you,
green. That can't be good.
That can't be good. That's got to be an artificial color. But God damn, it tastes so good.
But the marshmallows are gluten free, so you're good.
I'm
there
good.
You go.
I'm good. Cereal's got the 4 basic food groups in it: sugar, 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 and milk.
You're hopeless, dude.
Sugar, artificial colors, preservatives, and milk.
My favorite is artificial color number red.
She's at home with a cross. She's at home with a cross right now for you, saying a prayer.
Devil's Fruit Loops.
Great.
There's Carrie kissing Wendy's ass. I mean, come on, Carrie. No, she don't eat half the crap I eat. I mean, whatever. We all do.
Rachel's like, what the hell just happened here?
Nah, I have my food vices, believe me.
Right.
We all do. That's why I hide donuts in the center console.
But I make them up with supplements. I feel like as long as I take supplements, then what I just ate.
So it evens out.
It's not true.
Right.
I know that gets canceled out. I want to believe that.
14 slices of pizza and a vitamin.
You know what? You're kind of spot on. I love pizza.
Me too.
I love ice cream sandwiches. I love pasta. I love things that are not healthy but can get addicting really quickly.
Really quickly.
The 5 to 7 miles I do in the morning makes up for the pizza at night. That's the way.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
Pick your balance.
4 food groups.
Milk.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Wendy, I know it's bad. I need your services.
Oh my God! Look at this! Oh my God!
But see, I can hire 500 coaches. That's not gonna make me not want pasta. Like what I mean? It's not.
You got to be the one,
dude.
They can be right all day long.
Yeah,
you got to be the one that changes things if you want to change it. Nobody can
right.
be
That's the way it is for everybody. That's exactly right.
And don't try that wheat pasta either, because that's crap.
It's just
real pasta.
I have tried it. It's awful. I was like, I can't.
I got one for you. We'll leave it on this parting note, and Wendy will.
Oh, he's good. He's
gonna poke the bear.
Mama's gonna be proud.
Mama's gonna be proud here.
There we go.
If you guys, if you just bear with me on this. This sounds so out of character for me. If you get chickpea pasta, now get over the fact that it says chickpea. Okay.
I like chicks.
Are we going to go with the second part of that? Is this really going to go off the tables now, Mike?
It almost did earlier today.
But the chickpea pasta, Rachel, I'm telling you, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. All right. I haven't come
shot.
across that.
Give it a shot.
All right. I want to give it a shot. And if I don't like it, I'm coming right back to you. I'll tell you.
And I'll pass you right off to my wife.
There you go.
She just said something about pasta. She said, ask Mass about our pasta. I guess that's what she's talking
that
about.
must be the chickpea pasta.
Okay.
My wife and I are very much in tune.
Oh my God.
Try and put fruit on my cereal. There we go. Boy, these comments are just crazy today.
How dare you try to put fruit on my cereal?
They even beat all the Wham stuff, which was great.
This is the Wham guy. This is Lori right here. He stopped talking about Wham, and now he's talking about fruit on his cereal. See? I mean, these are.
I do blueberries. I do blueberries.
Blueberries.
Blueberries on my cereal. Yes.
Mike, what do you put on? Mike, what do you put on your cereal? Sugar?
Dude, I'll tell you one thing right now.
There's enough sugar in his cereal.
Yeah, you don't need to add
sugar in his body for the world.
But if you get that O's cereal and then you put milk in it, and it's Quakers, so it's got to be good. It's got to be good for you because them Quakers know what's good for you. They get the oatmeal. So what you do?
You're digging the hole.
You take a can of Ready Whip. Bam. You gotta try it, dude.
I don't know. I might pass on that one.
That does go to another level, Mike.
That is another level, dude. I mean,
why don't you just take coffee creamers and throw them in?
I tried that. It's not. That's too sweet.
That crosses the line right there.
He was out of milk one morning.
Right.
He was out of milk one morning and grabbed Carrie's creamer. Oh, I'll give it a shot.
I did. It was actually night. I don't eat cereal in the morning. I eat cereal at night.
Oh, that's so much better for your
body. Or during the afternoon, if I'm sitting watching a movie, I'll go through 2-3 boxes of cereal in a week. Easy. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it.
It's good cereal.
It's
good cereal.
Dude, you need an intervention.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm waiting for the comment coming up.
I don't. Oh, here comes one.
You bet. Mike, you might as well end this whole broadcast because you're about to get.
Someone's got to end it. It should be Mike.
Okay, we're out of here. I need to get some cereal. All this talk. I need
nice meeting you, Rachel.
So great to meet you. It's great to connect with you.
Right.
Best of luck in your show.
Same to you. Thank you.
Congratulations on it.
Thank you.
Right.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
I will put up other links to all the shows and maybe a cereal post and a pea pasta post.
If you really want to get people's attention, it should be a big cereal post, and then you can
cereal. I'll make it like a cereal box and be like.
She's on to something. If you start out with cereal,
you need to grab their attention.
Exactly.
And I think that's probably the way to do it.
I'm in.
Rachel's absolutely
right. People will be like, "Oh, the colors."
And while I'm still on good terms right now, Wendy, have a great night.
Smart man.
Yeah, Wendy's
love you, Wendy. Love you.
Love you guys. Thanks to everybody who commented.
Sugar, whipped cream.
Love you too. Mike, end this damn thing. It'll go on all night.
All right. Y'all get the fuck out of here. Have a good night.
See you there. Thanks, Mike.
Bye, guys. Thanks again, Mike.
All right. That's over with. Jeez, that went to hell really quick. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Loved it. Thank you to Jim, Will, and Rachel. Fantastic. Loved every minute of this. This was a great show. Website is up. Go visit www.theRockAltar.com. Website's live. Band directories. It's just gonna keep on growing and keep on growing. Go visit it. We'll have live streams pretty soon. Rachel's Rock Refuge, that Facebook page. 60 Minute Metal, PhillyRockRadio.com. Toxic Radio, Rock Metal Radio Facebook page. Boom. I'll put them all up in the links tomorrow. But y'all have a good night. 2-hour show, longest show yet. It was a good one. Y'all have a good night. I will see you soon. Don't have a show lined up for next Thursday yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Announcement's coming. Oh, tune in Monday. That's right, Monday. Announcement on the Toys for Tots lineup and other stuff. It'll be announced on the webpage. It'll be announced in the B-Rock group. It'll be announced on the Rock Altar group. And it'll be announced on my personal page. So tune in Monday. I'm thinking 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. I get the time. I'll post it. But this Monday, lineup for Rock for Tots in South Carolina. All right. I'm going to eat some cereal. I got to get me some green milk later.